Hello, everybody. Tommy Long, starting Tommy Time again today. What I really want to go over is a brief overview of our products. I keep getting a lot of the newer dealers coming in that are from the interior industry that don't understand our product offering and how all the components go together or what you need for what size shades and things like that. So I want to kind of go over briefly an overview of our product offering, what each component is, some motor options, things like that, just to help you understand better of what you're getting whenever you purchase one of our products. So let's start off. I know everybody, if you have been to my class or maybe you haven't been to my class, I go over a lot of terminology that we discuss, helping bridge the gap between the interior and exterior worlds. So, with that being said, what we use for our shade system to cover the roller tube and fabric is a hood and housing. So, we use a hood and housing. In the interior world, you're familiar with a cassette, a valance, a fascia, something like that, and you usually put a bracket on both ends. This is architectural aluminum. So, I mean, if you look at it, it's very, very thick. This is actually your bracket. So, if people ask, I mean, this is what you will be screwing into to mount your shade system to whatever substrate or structure that you are going to have. So, we use a hood and housing whenever you're figuring out the side the motor is on, always be aware it happens to be if you're looking at the curved part of the housing. It doesn't matter if you're mounting it inside the porch, outside the porch, bottom of the beam, between jamb, any of those things. It's always looking at the curved part of the housing. So at this particular one here, what you're going to do is you're looking at the left side, so your motor option would be on the left. Now, what makes our system easiest in the industry also is the trough system. We don't have a spring-loaded clip on either side or anything like that. We use a block on both sides of our idler pin and our motor. It makes it very easy to switch it in the field. If you order it on the right, you need it to be on the left, vice versa. This is okay to do under 16 feet. So be aware of that and write that down. Under 16 feet, you can flip our motors in the field simply by putting the tube with the cord coming out of it on the opposite side. It's not taking the motor out of the tube or anything. It's actually taking the tube. And if you're on this side, all you're literally doing is flipping it over and putting it back in the housing on the opposite side, below 16 feet. Anything over 16 feet, it's side specific. It's not very easy to change in the field. We do have a video that shows how to take the, let me grab it real quick, auto stop clutch. Now, anything over 16 feet, the auto stop clutch is handed, right or left. But there's a lot of little parts in here that you have to take apart. And we have the video that shows how to flip the gears, the ears, and all that around, put it back together, and put it back in so you can put it on the other side. But that's an extra step you shouldn't really have to take. If you do your due diligence when you're measuring and doing the final, everything setting up the job, and you uh, tell the electrician which side it needs to be on, you have to tell them right then, I have to have it on this side because I'm going to order it and I cannot switch it in the field. Most of the time, they will understand what you're talking about and they'll put it on that side. But below 16 feet, we use the 525 Maestria motor that has obstacle detection built in, which means it's very easy to flip it in the field. Over 16 feet, we use an auto stop clutch. It's the same 525 motor, but it's an Altus, which means it does not have obstacle detection built in. So we have to use this to stop the fabric if it hits something so it doesn't unspool and create a fold in the fabric and cause some complications. So be aware of what I'm talking about. This is over 16 feet, but that's also what makes our system so easy. Sorry. Uh, to install is the fact that with this trough system, our fabric gets installed on the tube with Velcro. Now we add 12 inches of fabric to our measurements of what you're ordering, so it wraps around and it holds that Velcro on the tube. This makes it very easy for two people to install as well, because this hood and housing, even up to 22.5 feet for a non-seasoned installer, somebody that's not familiar with installing big exterior shades. And then our widest measurement for our product is 286 inches, which is 23 foot 10. But you can hang this with two people. The tube gets installed into the housing, and then the fabric comes on the weight bar, and you actually literally feed it up around the back and lay it down across the face. And then whenever you're setting limits, it's going to wrap around twice, and that's what holds that fabric on the tube. So be aware of that. Other people complain they don't like the Velcro. It's a very easy install. I've been doing these for many, many years with a couple different manufacturers that have this type of option. I just like this better than other options that are out there, because there is other options where they put the spline on the tube, but anytime you need to change that fabric out, say high winds, a kid ran through it, something's happened to it, you have to pull the whole tube down when you have a spline to slide the fabric in and back out, because if it's between two surfaces, it's just a little bit harder to install. It doesn't mean it's any different. It's just a little bit difficult to install. So be aware of those options. The other thing, we have 7 colors that are available in the motion screen that we sell. Um, all the 7 colors come in a deck that comes in your sales kit. We started switching to some textured colors to help with scratches, because we know you're going to slide things around and all that, but the scratches are very minimalized when you have the textured finish. So we do have a few textured finishes that we've been using for a couple of years now. I think sometime in the future we will have another textured finish that'll come into play. I'm not exactly sure when. We've discussed it over the past couple of years. We just haven't been able to make it happen. The other thing to be aware of, the two main uh, types of installation that I like to call them retrofits. Other people call them different things. So the house is already built. So what you're going to be using is a standard side track on a surface mount. That basically means you're mounting the tracks over 2 surfaces. It does not matter if it's a house, a post, 2 post, anything. You're going to be mounting this side track. So this cap comes off, and this is where you hide your screws when you screw into the wall. But this track also opening is big enough to house one of the cables as well. So you can drill a hole in the top, run your cord down inside, pop it out the side, out the bottom, however you want to use an existing outlet that's on the porch to help save the homeowners some money for electrical. But this is for a surface mount. So whenever you're doing a surface mount, you measure your opening, daylight opening, I like to call it. So that way the interior people might understand it a little better. So you're going to measure top, middle, and bottom of the opening. You're going to add 4.5 to 5 inches to your measurement. That way this 4.5 will put it pretty close with the edge of the opening. I'm sorry, you have to take your widest measurement and add that to it. Make sure I made that clear. Your widest measurement of your 3 widths, add 4.5 to 5 inches. 4.5 inches is going to put this real close to the edge of the post. 4.5 inches is going to move it over a little bit, so you might see some of the post in there. The only reason why I have both those measurements is because Joe and them like to put it over the post a little bit. I like to try and keep mine real close to the edge. It doesn't mean that one's better than the other one. It's just 2 different styles of installing. The other thing is going to be a between jamb or an inside mount. Basically meaning you're mounting between 2 surfaces or inside of 2 surfaces. It has nothing to do with the housing. This all has to do with the side tracks. But you can't mount this to anything, especially if your openings are out of square. So what we provide is an L bracket, which is basically just a piece of L angle. Does everybody understand that? So what this has done is you mount this to the surface, and then your side track will mount to this, and it gives you a flat surface to be able to mount the side track to. And it doesn't matter if this is out of square on the column or not. This is what fills in the gap to make for a bug-free porch. Now, most people don't understand zipper track. Now, zipper track only has to do with terminology, meaning fabric retention system. So there's many different types that are out there in the industry. The zipper was the very first one that was introduced, 20 something years ago. I don't remember exact date as to when it came into play, but it is a spiral zipper. It is not like the zipper on your pants that has big teeth that actually interlock together. This is actually designed to slide down in something inside of the track. We use a vinyl insert in there to basically make this a fabric retention system. Now, zipper shades are not designed to handle high winds. High winds meaning anything above, let's say, 50 miles an hour. Most manufacturers, like we do, we say 35 to 40 miles an hour. Can they handle more than that? Yes. Do we recommend it? No. That's almost every zipper in the industry has that pretty much terminology. When you need a high wind abatement shade or a hurricane shade or anything that can handle more winds, that is going to be a Keeter type product. So basically, Keeter came from the boat sail industry. So it is I want to say like a solid spline that has a flap that wraps around it that is welded to your fabric, and those are designed for higher winds. So um, be aware, any kind of zipper track or fabric retention system is designed to keep this in. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to ask, what about cable guide shades? Yes, we do manufacture a cable guide shade using our same hood and housing, fabric, tube, weight bar, and all that, but it is not designed for high winds. And I don't like selling or promoting a lot of the cable guides because homeowners are going to leave them down. And what happens when you leave those shades down is they bellow like a sail on a sailboat. So as the wind's blowing, that weight bar is going to want to twist and slide up and down. Well, as it slides up and down, the pins on the end of the weight bar that hold the cable in is going to twist, and it likes to cut the sheeting off of the cable, and it also likes to tear up those guides really bad over a really short amount of time. So those are basically designed more for sun control. But even if you run into something where you have a cultured column or you have something where you can't put a track, let us know. Our team can help you work out a solution to where you can get around that cultured column, anything like that. Go to our dealer Facebook group that we have. If you're one of our dealers, which I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, our dealer Facebook group shows some round columns with some different options from different clients that have come up with on how to get around those cultured columns and still make for a bug-free uh, shading option on a porch. So this is just a couple of things. Now, the other thing let's talk about now is going to be recess shades. Now, with recess shades, it's a little different because what you're going to have is an open roll bracket. Basically, this can be mounted to the bottom of a beam, inside of a pocket. Most recess shades done inside of the a pocket that's designed on the face of the beam on the inside of the porch, and it has to have a removable panel able to get to for service work, or if something happens, motor goes bad, which is highly unlikely, but it can happen. I recently had a lightning strike close to my house, and I didn't even think about it because I hadn't even used my movie screen shade in a while. So I went out to try and use it, and it wasn't working. Well, some other things in our house had popped, and I thought, well, I wonder if that's it. So I tried a different plug, extension cord. I tried a whole bunch of different things. So I just said, you know what? I've got another motor here in my inventory from shades long ago. I switched the motor out. I left the cord because I'd ran it into the track, plugged it in. It didn't work. So I changed the cord out and it works. Now, I have not tested the other motor yet, but after getting with Chris Nivens at Somfy, he told me that the cord is actually that plug that plugs inside of the motor is actually the first thing that pops and goes bad whenever a lightning strike happens. So I'm going to test the cord and the motor here in the next few days to actually check and see if he is correct. Because if so, then I will just put that motor into my inventory as still a new motor because it's not even but 3 years old. So I don't think there is anything wrong with the motor then after knowing that the electric uh, lightning strike is actually messes up the cord and not the others. So open roll brackets or recess shades have a different track system. So during the framing stage of the house, you're actually going to mount a U channel. Now, if you look at the face of this, you will see one side is bigger than the other. The one side has a pinstripe. This pinstripe I like to put on the inside of the porch. So you're going to mount this to the column before they frame the rest of the patio or put brick, rock, limestone, stucco, whatever. But be aware that this is 2.5 inches. So you're going to need that much going up into the pocket where this bracket lines up with the back side of this to be able to mount your roller. This has to line up, and then you have to know how the orientation of this bracket is going to be inside of the pocket. But then you get the same type of vinyl insert inside of a recessed insert that actually goes inside of here, and you will be held responsible for drilling the holes. We provide color matched screws that you drill 1/8 inch hole all the way through all of the pieces of metal that's inside of there, and that is what mounts. Now, this is designed, our matrix, for this to be flush. Hold on, let me pull it up. Flush with the face, and then the screws go through. Now, you have some adjustment, but you don't really want this sticking out because it leaves a very uh, kind of unfinished look when it's open like this. Hopefully this explains a little bit of the two options, or the three options of installing our product. Now, weight bars. Over the years, we have always had a 2-inch weight bar. This 2-inch weight bar, sorry, sticker came off. 2-inch weight bar was our standard weight bar. This is good up to about 20 feet in width. We have recently added I say recently, it's been a couple of years, a 3-inch weight bar, which is designed to help with deflection. 20 feet and above, we recommend using this. Just by itself, it is pretty hefty and has a lot of weight, but we're able to add 2 slots of weights inside of here when needed, especially if you're doing a vinyl or maybe a solar screen that the wind's going to be pushing against it as it's rolling down, so we can add more weight into it. Now you're going to ask, what is this on the bottom? This is what we call pile. Some people call it mustache. I've heard many different names for it. This is standard 2-inch pile, and there is a 1-inch in the front. The 2-inch is pretty much standard now because what's happening is there's more and more slopes on patios. So across the end of a patio, it's usually flat all the way across level. This will fill in. The 2-inch pile is designed for on the sides of the patio that you can smash it against the house and it will fill in up to about the most is about 1.75 inches of slope. Now, once you get beyond that, if you smash this side down too far against the house, it's going to ripple the fabric and then it won't completely fill in everything. So this is actually designed to help fill in when you've got large grout lines, travertine tiles where it fills in. Why don't we use the bubble uh, seal or rubber seal that's on the bottom like garage doors? Over time, that rubber seal cracks, it shrinks, it doesn't fill in those old daylight gaps on the bottom of travertine tiles. So it just didn't look for a very clean look. And plus, whenever you get those real crazy slopes, this might smash down, but when it hangs for a while, this will actually relax down where that bubble, once it's smashed for a long period of time, it stays smashed. So hopefully that helps a little bit more with some of the things like that also. Let me grab some fabric samples and we'll go over some fabric options now. So now what we're going to do is let's talk about some fabrics. So we carry anything from bug screen, which is tough screen, has about a 50% heat rejection. Basically think of it as in the interior world, your numbers flip backwards compared to ours. So you're light filtering. Your shades are on the inside of the porch and you're filtering the light coming through it. What we're trying to do is block the heat from coming in, UV rays. So our numbers flip. So if I say 50, it's a 50% open, 50% light filtering. But our tough screen is the closest thing to the bug screen that is on your house. Okay, so basically, let's think of it this way. Bug screens on your house are considered an 1816 mesh. They might have about 40% heat rejection. They're not designed to keep the sun out or the heat out. They're mainly designed to keep the bugs out. So 1816 mesh is 18 squares by 16 squares in every square inch. So this is about a, oh, I want to say it's, I think they consider it a 1717, something numbers like that. So it's woven tighter, as you can see. So it's 17 this way, 17 this way. It's a more even mesh. It's easier to see through. Plus, if you do a large shade, you might not even know that the shade is down. That's how, you know, almost transparent this is. Now, tough screen, now they have them available up to 144 inches rolls, which basically means your seam location used to be always at 10 foot. They started 11-foot rolls, and then now they have 12-foot rolls. So that puts your seam higher up, and in some instances, on some height of porches, you will not even show a seam whenever it rolls out. We always put the seams up close to the ceiling, 10 foot off the floor at least, so it's never in your eyes whenever you're actually rolling the shade up. We have had some people that always want to put it at the bottom. Now, a lot different than solar screens because bug screens on are either going to be all the way up or all the way down. You're never going to way up like solar screens will. So, I mean, if you want to put the seam, say 36 inches off the floor where you have railing or something like that, that's not a problem. We can do those types of things. So we can put the seam anywhere you want. Just please let us know where you want it. So tough screen, 50% heat rejection. No-see-um, which is a little bit more woven tighter. I don't remember the exact number of this. Let's just say 1818. It's probably 1919 closer because this actually keeps the very small gnats and smaller bugs, bugs as they call it. So this is about a 60% heat rejection. Then we start getting into the solar screens. Now, solar screens get different. 8% is going to be the very first. We carry 3 manufacturers of fabrics. Twitchell was our very first that we brought in long time ago, years ago. Pfeiffer is our main offering now, and then also we do carry some Vision Techs. So each one of them have different percentages based on the color options and things like that. So 80% is going to be the first start of the solar screens. Now, you're going to have different colors, different options that are available. The good thing that I like with the Pfeiffer products is the same color name is the same through all of it. So let's say you want a little more open fabric, more visibility on one end of the patio, you can put an 80%, let's say dark bronze. Then the other end of the patio, across the far end, you want a little bit more shade, you can do a 90. At the far end, you can do a 95 or a 97 for more privacy. So that dark bronze transfers through all of the colors. I'm sorry, all the percentages. The only difference is the more tighter the weave, some of the colors get a little different looking. So a dark bronze in 80% is going to be a black and brown mix. It's going to be hard to tell. But once you get to a 97, you might see more of the brown because it's more overpowering than the black part of it. It's just the way they weave it together. So 80% is going to be your least. Basically, it's a 20% openness. So that's 80% blocking UV rays and light from coming into the patio. Also, during the day, it's going to have the very small amount of privacy. You will be able to see figures on the patio during the day. Then once you go to 90%, you might see a silhouette on the patio during the day, so it gives a little bit more privacy. But if there is a light source behind you, so let's say they're looking through the patio, there's windows, and then there's a light source coming like from a front door window or something on the front side of the house, they'll see the silhouette. That's all they're going to see. Once you get to 95, it's the most privacy during the day and is the most dense fabric that you can still see out of during the day as well. The only difference is with all solar screens. At night, the light source changes. So during the day, the light source is on the outside of the porch, shining in. That's why it gives you privacy. At night, it does the exact opposite. Your lights on your porch or your patio are brighter than the light outside because it's dark. So the light source changes, it changes the privacy. So at night, do not change clothes, or everybody, all your neighbors will see what's going on your patio at night. Now, what I have found that a lot of builders are putting floodlights under the eaves now, shining down. The landscape artists and landscape designers are actually putting what they call wall washers. So they're putting them at the base of the patios or in the landscaping, shining up the walls to give an ambiance. That light source changes the operation of the shades as well. So now your light source outside is going to be brighter than your light source inside. So it's going to change that privacy option at night. The other thing also to take into consideration, lighter fabrics put more glare on the patio during the day, on the TVs, harder to keep clean. They also do the same thing with the privacy at night. So they're lighter. They change that. Now, darker fabrics are better. Don't show dirt as easy, as well as they're easier to keep clean. Plus, they do not put glare on TVs during the day. And at night, whenever the light sources are, that's why you have some people like the lighter fabrics. We have many different options of fabrics available. There's 97% is going to be the highest in the Pfeiffer line. Right now, we are looking at their new privacy fabric that they brought in. It's 99.998%. It is still being talked about. If anybody went to IWCE and saw the outdoor movie screen that we had in the Outdoor Oasis, that was Pfeiffer's white privacy screen. I asked them to send me some so I could use that. These shades can be multifunctional. With that being said, you can use them for many different things. I have one as a movie projector screen out in the middle of the property. I used Pfeiffer 97% white. Be very aware. I left mine rolled up for 8 to 9 months because it was in the winter and I wasn't using it. It got mold on it and it does not come off that easy on a white fabric. So it's something you have to maintain a little more when you have a white fabric. It does not hinder the operation of the projector showing the image on the screen at night because the light source is very bright. There is videos and pictures of my movie screen. I'm working on finishing my outdoor patio right now. A few more things done, and I'll post some better pictures and some better videos showing the projector, showing the picture, the movies, things like that on the projector screen, just to give you another idea. Um, there is a 99.5% dim out fabric that is available from Twitchell. We have used that on a couple of instances before when people were asking for something. I know other manufacturers are using dim out as well. Now, all the solar screen fabrics and all that are available in all sizes of our shades. Just be aware that the more dense the fabric, the less wind that gets through it. If your homeowner is wanting to get more breathing through the patio, then you want to go with a touch screen or a no-see-um because they let more wind through. Once you start getting to the solar screens, it limits the availability of air or breathing on your patio. But with that also being said, is say you go to a 95% fabric. How many times have you yelled at your kids, we're not air conditioning the outdoors? So you can use a 95% fabric. It's the most dense and easy still to see out of because it's an even weave. But you can put a patio heater out there. You can leave the back door open so the AC comes out. You can put a split AC unit. I have used 95% Pfeiffer products and Twitchell products both on patios that had central air and heating. Very, very large homes where they wanted an outdoor living space that was separate from the house, and they could turn a AC unit on and let it cool it, heat it, all those things out there as well. So there's a lot of different options that are available by using the different fabrics. The other thing is we do have a vinyl product that is made for blackout. It has a silver backing on it. So the curved part of the face of your shade, when you're picking the motor side, is the same side the color option will always come on. The silver is always on the back side. So be aware of that. But with that vinyl blackout fabric, it's rather expensive and it only comes in a very small roll. So we limit our size by 12 by 12 in the vinyl blackout fabrics. Those are mainly designed to put over windows for media rooms or things like that as well. Or you can use them as a privacy option on your patio, but it's very limited in size because it doesn't roll up real nice. And as well as that's a big sail. There's no wind going to get through it. It comes pre-shrunk, where solar screen fabrics tend to stretch a little bit. Also, then let's get into the vinyl. Okay, vinyl is another option. Restaurants, I'm sure everybody's familiar with the clear vinyl panels that are on restaurants that have a border around the outside of some particular color. So, with that being said, we do manufacture those as well. Our widest width is 16 feet wide. 6 inches is our minimum border. 8 inches is recommended, and that's the colored border all the way around the outside. Now, there's many different options in the vinyl fabrics that are available. We use Sattler vinyl, we use Value vinyl, and then we use Serge Ferrari. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Serge Ferrari. Serge Ferrari has the most color options that are available. Now, be aware that we're only putting a very small border of that color around the outside. So, restaurants might want their own specific colors, things like that. That's where that color border comes into play. Now, we don't give the vinyl option with our sales kits whenever you purchase them because we recommend you going through one of my vinyl training courses to learn all of the options, how the drawings need to be done, everything you're going to encounter, as well as getting certified on the vinyl product before you go out there and actually sell it. It's just our recommendation, and we want you to have the best experience when you're using our products. So that's why we recommend the certification classes. Now, motors. We do sell Sompi motors. That is our primary line. We do have Alpha motors. We've had them for a while just as a secondary option. We sell predominantly the Sompi 525 Maestria up to 16 feet. 16 feet and above is the Altus 525. Now you're going to ask, hey, in the software, I see a 550. Now the 550 motor is really only designed for the really, really big shades when you're using a 6-inch roller tube. Some of our dealers like to use that big awning roller tube. It's from the Hurricane awning market to be able to have less deflection. But I mean, 6-inch roller tube, our standard roller tube is 3 inches. So you gotta realize it's double the size and it's a lot heavier to install as well. So you just need to be very aware of those options that are available. Motor remote controls. So we sell the patio remotes. Basically, they're blue. We have a single channel and a 5 channel. Now, the reason why we use the blue is because we want you to have a true exterior remote that is used, not other manufacturers. The pure remotes are cheaper, yes, but they're not designed to be left on the patio. So with the blue patio remotes, you can leave them on the patio, you can hang them up on the wall, anything like that. They can get thrown in a pool, they float. But we recommend whenever kid dumps it in their drink glass or plays with it in the water or whatever, pick it up, shake it off before you press the button because there might be water in there in that gasket that's helping seal everything. The minute you push that button, that gasket might open and water in and it's done. So just be aware of that. We do have a 16 channel digital display remote that is available. So if you have multiple shades, multiple patios, and you want to use a 16 channel, that's fine. It is not waterproof. If you are going to leave it on the patio, please, by all means, educate the homeowners. It needs to stay in a Ziploc bag or it needs to be left inside the house. And always, whenever you're rolling the shades down, kind of watch them as they're rolling up or down just to make sure they don't hit something or something doesn't happen. You see it pull out of something's happened to the shade, it's coming down uneven. Just kind of watch it. Yes, we've all seen the home automation stuff where it rolls them up and down at certain times of the day. That's fine. But every once in a while, we recommend you watching them roll up and down so you can catch things that are happening before they can cause some major issues. Now, with all exterior patio shades, these are made to be used, made to be left down over long periods of time. If the homeowner is going to do that, overly educate them a couple of times a week. I don't care if it's once a day, twice a week, 3 times a week, roll them up and roll them down to make sure they're operating correctly whenever they need to use them, not wait till, say, they've left them down for 2 weeks straight and they've got a party coming up. They wait till Friday afternoon to clean the patio. They raise the shade up, try to, it doesn't work. What are they going to do? They're going to call you and be upset because it's not working and they need it done. You could be busy. You could be out of town on vacation. You could have a very, very stiff schedule to where you can't get to it. It doesn't make for a good experience. So our QR codes on the back of the remotes are designed for the maintenance, to help educate the homeowners on what to spray in the tracks, what to clean the fabrics with, those type of things, so that they're get the best experience out of their shades whenever they need to. Um, let's see, what are some of the other things? Hubs. Okay, so with hubs, Somfy sells a Tahoma and a Tahoma switch. Those are both hub options, and it's a communication device between your shades and the phone app, but also gives availability of hooking to any of the home platforms that are being predominantly used, voice activation through Google, the Amazon stuff, as well as the new Apple HomeKit. Um, but it also bridges that gap to hook to any home automation system that's out there. Crestron, Control4, Savant, all of those home automation control options can grab the IP address and add it into the system to where you can do all kinds of scenes and timers and things like that. Now, we do sell another option that is Bond. Bond is a control company. That's all they really do. So they control the exact same way a Somfy Tahoma or a remote control does. That's all it's designed for. So they have a switch, which is a wall switch. It goes on the wall. The difference between Bond and the Somfy product, Tahoma, is the fact that Bond controls lights, ceiling fans, many different motor options. So if you have a wall switch, you can do a ceiling fan, an interior shade that might not have a Somfy motor. It could have another motor company's motor in it. And then you can control an exterior patio shade or an awning or anything that can be controlled within their frequency range. Now, the Bond Bridge is the entry level hub that gives you app controls. The Bond Bridge Pro offers a more wide base of controlling options. Um, Plus, it gives you more channels, more scenes. It gives you the slide feature where you can slide the shade or tell the hub to raise the shade 30%, lower it 50%. You can do a lot of different things with the Bond controlling option. Trying to think of what else we could go over. I mean, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of everything that I kind of teach in the class. The other thing that we do stock now and started selling, and I don't have any of it in here, I think I left it all in Dallas, is the build out options. Hold on one second. Let me grab a piece, an actual section that I have. I can. So what you'll see a lot of dealers are starting to do now is create stationary fixed panels. Say you have a countertop in the way. That countertop in the way, you can't stop the shade at the top of the countertop because you've got a big opening over here on the other side. So what you could do is run a post, 2x2 post, do the fixed screen over the countertop, and then the shade will run down this surface all the way to the floor, filling in that gap. So we call this build out material. I have been using this for years to get around the caps, trim panels, around columns and things like that. So we sell 2x2 patio. It has a spline groove in it to be able to roll the fabric in, and then we sell at the top this piece of receiving channel. So this receiving channel is designed to fit whatever or receive whatever you put into it. So right now we currently only sell the 2x2 and the receiving channel. So we use this for build out. We have it in 6 of our 7 colors. The one color we do not use currently in stock is going to be the textured gray, because you cannot get screen doors in textured gray. So let me know if you start running into more where you want textured gray. We'll have to talk to management and see when we can bring that in, if it's even a possibility of us doing that. But we sell the spline that goes in here for the Solar Screen products, as well as the 2x2 and receiving channel. So if you want more training on these things, please get with me. Let's get you into one of the training classes, certification classes that I teach. I have 3 classes that I teach right now. 101 is the basic stuff that we talked about in the first part of this video. The 202 is more recessed, pocket design, things like that, along with the vinyl shades. The 301 class is my build out, fixed screen stuff. It's a very small introductory thing to teach you some options. We can go in more depth. I can set up a Zoom call with you to talk about things if you want. Please let me know what you need to help you be a better salesperson and sell some of these jobs. Trust me, you won't stump me. I recommend trying to stump me. I will find a way to make it the easiest way to get around whatever obstacles are there, but it's whatever the homeowner, their vision is, and what they're going to allow you to do also. That's what you have to be aware of. So I'm trying to make everything simple, to where you can install the products very easily and finish the projects in a very reasonable amount of time to move on to the next project. I'm not trying to leave you out there on a patio for a week to install a few couple of shades. No, this is very easy. Now, rolling this fabric in, I will tell you, is an art. It's not something you can learn overnight. Do it on your own. Your first couple of jobs, do a family member, your own personal house. You fix screens like this, same thing. Try and do a family member's house so you can learn all of the stuff, or do your own to get around all of the obstacles that you might run into, so you're giving your homeowners the best experience possible when you're installing the product. I hope this gives you a little bit more information and a broad overview of our product. Please let me know how Universal Screens and the team can help you with selling patio shades. I'm hoping to get everybody educated, even the general public, in the near future, to help them understand what exterior patio shades truly are. Years ago, I used to manufacture the chain shades, which is basically an interior product that was adapted for the exterior market. That is not a patio shade. Please be aware, a patio shade has a hood and housing that covers the roller tube. It has some kind of side track retention system. Motorization, yes, there is manual options that are available, but they're limited on size. But mainly the cranks are designed for cable guides. They're not usually designed for the zipper track shades. So by all means, I hope today has been a great information for you. Let me know if there's anything that I can do for you. You can send me an email at tlong@usmotions.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great day.